and welcome back to Friday 15. So today we are going to be talking AV, audiovisual, or to be more precise, the audio part of audiovisual. So you know the expression seeing is believing. So today we're going to alter that expression to hearing is believing. And we're going to take you down an auditory journey. So without further ado, let me pull up the agenda. So my guest today is Adrian Doughty. He is the North America Sales Director of an audio conferencing company called Nureva. And we're going to be looking at their new audio technology and see how it works. And looking at that auditory component, hear it to believe it. We're going to ask him some candid questions and then leave you with some recommendations and resources. Welcome, Adrian, to Friday 15.
Thanks, Dina. Nice to be here.
Okay, so before we begin, tell us something about Nureva.
Absolutely. So Nureva is an audio conferencing company, a fairly new entrant into the audio world, as it were, and we specialize in large and extra large spaces for microphone pickup and speaker output, obviously.
Cool. So the first thing we're going to talk about is called achieving auditory parity, and I wanted to sound smart and academic by this little title here. So auditory parity. So since COVID, I mean, really, that's when it really brought to light, is this idea of a hybrid experience. And the concept is somehow the people on the far end, the people joining remotely, are going to have that equal parity experience as the people sitting right there. And it's almost a little delusional to think about it because we're not actually there. So if we can look at those components of that physical experience of being there, what are those components that make you feel there?
So part of it is trying to deliver what we refer to as the natural audio experience. There are lots of tools out there from an audio perspective that let you hear just the people speaking, but that's not natural, right? That's like being in a fishbowl. What we're trying to deliver is the actual acoustic sound of the room so that it feels like you're in the space, even though you're not, without delivering the annoying things. We also go one step further by making sure that if the people in the room are moving around, the people who aren't in the room are able to hear them wherever they happen to be in the space, so that there isn't any, oh, wait, stop, I couldn't hear you over there. Can you come back to the table, to give it a more natural flow?
Right. That's interesting because when you think about the visual experience, we've tried to solve that, but I've never been sold at anything that really solved that. Like those cameras that flip around from speaker to speaker and supposed to make you feel like you got eyes going 360. It's a bit disconcerting. So to think about that auditory experience and to provide that kind of 360 immersion, so to speak, that I cannot wait to see it. So let's think about how that experience generally goes if you don't have that. Okay, we're going to do a bunch of little simulations. Going to make you all jump around. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
Good. All right. Example number one, the muffled CEO. Okay.
So the muffled CEO is the person. I'm just going to switch our camera angle here because, frankly, we have a muffled CEO here at Nureva, and that person really likes to do this. They like to get up and wander around. But they're not just a soft talker. They also like to stand at the wall, think deeply, speak very important tones, and everyone has to listen. It would be very hard to hear them if you don't have a microphone right in front of them. And as you just heard, you can hear me fine.
Right. Okay, so muffled CEO speaking something important about the stocks. No one can hear Nureva, you can hear about it. Another application, how about, as you said, a back-turned teacher. So you've got a hybrid classroom. Teacher turns to the whiteboard.
Teacher turns to the whiteboard. Same use case there, but I can do you one better. We also have people, because there's a near 100% chance that there are remote attendees in any meeting. It is not uncommon for us to be alone in this room. And so we'll get into the habit of standing here, speaking directly to the camera. HDL is approximately 15 feet behind me. So it doesn't matter where I am or where Riley is, you can hear us, regardless of how we're using the room. So that's another way we solve that problem. And I'm not wearing anything. I'm just getting picked up wherever I happen to be.
Right. So if you are telling the Pythagoras' theorem and the back is turned, I'll still know how to do it.
That's right.
All right. What about, like, sometimes when people talk, there's a temporary distraction. drop a pencil, go under the table, keep on talking.
Sure. So that happens fairly often, believe it or not, where we do have a situation where someone needs to get under the table. And even if I'm completely obstructed between the mic and the table, you can still hear me, even though I'm, like I said, under the table. Temporary distractions can also be reflected by multiple people talking, right? Someone in the room has a question. You want to make sure that the people on the other end get that answer. So even if Riley was to cut me off right now,
I'm talking right now and cut him off.
There's no delay in that switch. You get a very natural and organic feel for the conversation in the room, despite not being here.
I love that, because if, once again, the classroom, the online meeting, if somebody asks a question and the speaker never really repeats the question, and then you're lost because you did not hear the original. So thank you for that. And I think maybe the most important example I like to call the restrained activist. You know what I mean by that.
The restrained activist. You mean the person who is sitting and likes to spin around and take over the meeting? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, kind of, but they feel chained to the table because they know the mic is on the table and they want to move around. And the meeting would be more better for everybody there if they could, but they'd harness to the mic on the table. But with your technology...
We'll use my tie as an example. We'll imagine the microphone is right here, and this is the person who feels they have to speak directly into the microphone. Well, we take care of that. As you've seen, right? I can use the entire room, and I can sit, I can stand, I can go under a table. Even if I'm to face the unit or spin around and face away from the unit, you'll still hear me regardless of where we happen to be.
Okay, I love that, and thank you so much for playing your part and doing all those theatrics. So, so let's talk about the technology. What is Nureva? You called it microphone mist TM technology. What is it?
So what the microphone mist is, and I'll zoom the camera back in here so that you can see Riley and I once more. What microphone mist is the term we use for our patented technology. What we do is we use 12 omnidirectional microphones, and we create over 8,000 individual points of pickup that fill the room. Once they've filled the room, as you just saw, anyone can be anywhere facing any direction, and they'll be heard. Those points of pickup, we can describe them in detail if you like, but they are also fully auto-calibrating. So they're doing things like adjusting to the circumstances in the room. Let's say you have multiple people join a meeting halfway through or leave halfway through. No one is going to suffer any audio quality dips because it doesn't matter. We can also fully support flexible rooms through that auto-calibration. We're also taking care of things in the background like HVAC and fan noise.
Cool. Are you considering going to haptics of smell-o-vision?
We've had lots of internal discussions about that. However, nothing has made it to product stage yet.
Very well. We'll wait in anticipation. So getting into the nitty-gritty, okay? So AV technology is notoriously expensive, especially good one. How does your solution compare? How do you like to position it?
Sure. So we feel that we're right in between sort of the two lanes of professional AV, if you will. At the very top end are your installed ceiling systems, right? Those systems where you are taking lots of training to do it. You're putting gear in the ceiling. You're cutting holes for both mic and speakers. You're running cables all over the room. Those are really high-end, expensive systems, not just from the acquisition cost, but the ongoing installation and maintenance cost over time as well, right? There's a care and feeding regimen, if you will, to manage those systems. At the other end are the plug-and-play all-in-one USB unit. So the camera and microphones, which, to your point, create restrained activists at the table because they really are designed to point in one direction. We come right in between those two. We're using in this room an HDL 310 audio conferencing system. It has an MSRP of $43.99, and it can be installed in as little as an hour. And thanks to that auto calibration I mentioned, there is no ongoing care and feeding regimen. The system will just adapt to the circumstances of the room. So you create a nice, affordable middle road there where you're getting the Pro AV performance and not chained to the table through those all-in-ones.
So can you actually swivel the camera and show us the unit?
Certainly can. So I believe we've got to go up to the left. So there is the unit itself directly above our two currently malfunctioning large displays.
Yes, well, that's a visual. Blame the visual people for that, not the audio people.
Yeah.
And that size, that unit is all-in-one, microphone, speakers, and it covers what size room are you in?
So this will cover this room, which is 26 feet long and 18 feet wide, but it's nowhere near the maximum coverage that that unit can deliver. That unit will cover a room of up to 30 feet by 30 feet, so 900 square feet.
Cool. And can you zoom out and show us the full scope of the room?
Absolutely. So the room itself, just to highlight some of the fun things, you can see we've got our massive reflective table in the middle. Half the walls are also glass. Your viewers will notice there is a bit of acoustic treatment on the ceiling, but I'm sure your audience knows that any treatment you do to a room has benefits, not just for people remote, but also for people in the room. A room that's half glass is quite echoey and headache inducing.
Yes, and we hear you very well, especially with all the moving around. That is very neat. So I wanted to end off with some resources and recommendations. Okay, and before we go to know what Nureva can offer you, I want to make sure that our clients and viewers know about this. So if you are interested in to know more how it works, how it could work in your conference room, we have something that we call the under the hood experience. You've heard it to believe it. Now get under the hood. November 2nd, Nureva will be here in our conference room. We do have a demo unit, and we will have a representative from Nureva to answer all your questions. You can go to our website, descom.com/Nureva demo to book your half-hour slot and see it for yourself. And back to you guys. Tell us where everybody else can learn more, what they can do.
Absolutely. So Nureva.com is where you should always start, as I'm sure most people do. Two things I would like to point out is, first, in the top right of every page is a button that says book a demo or some flavor of that language, where if you are either before or after the event at Descom, you're able to get an experience one-on-one with someone from our team here in this room or any of our two other demo rooms, depending on what you need to see. We have one larger room, one smaller room. We also have a resource that is great for anyone who wants to learn more about how real customers are using the products. So Nureva.com/resources, conveniently enough, is where you can find everything from spec sheets to videos to customer stories, things that really flesh out what makes Nureva special.
Yeah, and certainly higher ed classrooms is a no-brainer. You want to get that auditory experience and offer your education to more people beyond the classroom, back to work, conferencing, and many other applications. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you so much for showing the technology, and we look forward to showing it to our clients in our office soon.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.